guys, Turbo Violin here.
And Shaka Zulu.
Shaka Zulu is going to be reading creepy pastas against your own will as you watch Minecraft.
Today I'm going to be reading
wait. That's the wrong.
Killer. Jeff the Killer. This one is probably one of the most famous creepypastas known to man. Besides Slenderman, of course.
Yeah.
It starts off as...
What about Jane the Killer? Huh?
No, that's a different... That was based off of Jeff the Killer.
Yeah, true. Continue on.
We start off with an excerpt from a local newspaper. Ominous unknown killer is still at large. After weeks of unexplained murders, the ominous unknown killer is still on the rise. After little evidence has been found, a young boy states that he survived one of the killer's attacks and bravely tells his story. I had a bad dream and I woke up in the middle of the night, says the boy. I saw that there was some reason the window was open, even though I remember it being closed before I went back to bed. I got up and shut it once more. Afterwards, I simply crawled under my covers and tried to get back to sleep. That's when I had a strange feeling that someone was watching me. I looked up and nearly jumped out of my seat. There, in a little ray of light illuminating from between my curtains, there were a pair of two eyes. These weren't regular eyes. They were dark, ominous eyes with bordered. They were black. It just plain out terrified me. And when I saw his mouth, a long, horrendous smile that made every hair on my body stand up. The figure stood there watching me. Finally, after it seemed like forever, he said it, a simple phrase, but it's said in a way only a madman can speak. He said, "Go to sleep." I let out a scream. That's what sent it at me. He pulled up a knife, aiming at my heart. He jumped up on top of my bed. I fought back. I kicked, I punched, I rolled around, trying to knock him off of me. That's when my dad busted in. The man threw the knife. It went into my dad's shoulder. The man probably would have finished him off if only the neighbors hadn't alerted the police. They drove into a parking lot and ran towards the door. The man turned and ran down the hallway. I heard a smash like glass breaking. As I came out of my room, I saw the window that was pointing towards the back of my house was broken. I looked out and see him vanish into the distance. I can tell you one thing. I will never forget that face, those cold, evil eyes, and psychotic smile. They will never leave my head. Police are still on the look for this man. If you see anyone that fits the description in this story, please contact your local police department. Here comes the story. Jeff and his family had just moved into a neighborhood. His dad had gotten a promotion at work, and they thought it would be the best to live in one of those fancy neighborhoods. Jeff and his brother Louie couldn't complain, though. A new, better house, what was not to love? As they were getting unpacked, one of their neighbors came by. "Hello," she said. "I'm Barbara. I'm Barbara. I live across the street from you. Well, I wanted to introduce myself and to introduce my son." She turns around and calls her son over. "Billy, these are our new neighbors." Billy said hi and ran back to play in his backyard. "Well," said Jeff's mom, "I'm Margaret, and this is my husband Peter, and my two sons Jeff and Louie. I think it's Lou."
Just to interrupt the story for a second, she said, that her two sons, Billy and Jeff, she left out the killer part.
No. This is before. Cody.
Okay. So he's not a killer yet. He hasn't gotten that label yet.
Not yet, Cody.
Okay, continue.
Okay. I think I've been saying Lou wrong. It's Lou. Jeff and Lou. They each introduced themselves, and then Barbara invited them to her son's birthday party. Jeff and his brother were about to object, and then their mother said they would love to. When Jeff and his family were done packing, Jeff went up to his mom. "Mom, why did you invite us to some kids' party? If you haven't noticed, I'm not some dumb kid." "Jeff," said his mother, "as we just moved here, we would show that we want to spend time with our neighbors. Now, we're going to the party and that's final." Jeff started to talk but stopped himself, knowing that he couldn't do anything. Whenever his mother said something, it was final. He walked up to his room and plopped down in his bed. He sat there looking at the ceiling and when suddenly he got a weird feeling. Not so much a pain, but a weird feeling. He dismissed it as some random feeling. He heard his mother call him down to get his stuff, and then he walked down to get it. The next day, Jeff walked downstairs to get breakfast and got ready for school. As he sat there eating his breakfast, he once again got the feeling. This time it was longer. It gave him such a slight tugging pain, but he once again dismissed it. As he and Lou finished breakfast, they walked down to the bus stop. They sat there waiting for a bus, and then all of a sudden, this kid on a skateboard jumped over them, and only inches above their laps. And they both jumped back in surprise. Hey, what the hell? This kid landed and turned back to them. He kicked the skateboard up and caught it with his hands. The kid seemed to be about 12, 1 year younger than Jeff. He wears an Aeropostale shirt and ripped blue jeans. Well, 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 it looks like we got some new meat. Suddenly, 2 other kids appeared. One was super skinny and the other was huge. Well, since you are new here, I'd like to introduce ourselves. Over there is Keith. Jeff and Lou looked over at the skinny kid. He had a dopey face that you could expect the sidekick would have. And he's Troy, looking over at the fat kid. Talk about a tub of lard. This kid looked like he hadn't exercised since he was crawling. And he said the first kid, I'm Randy. Now, for all the kids in this neighborhood, there's a small price for the bus fare, if you catch my drift. Lou stood up, ready to punch the lights out of the kid's eyes, and one of the friends pulled a knife on him. Tisk, tisk. I hope that you would be more cooperative, but it seems that it must be taken the hard way. Kid walked up to Lou and took his wallet out of his pocket. Jeff got the feeling again. Now it was truly strong, a burning sensation. He stood up and Lou gestured him to sit down. Jeff ignored him and walked up to the kid. Listen here, you little shit. Give back my bro's wallet or else. Brandy put the wallet in his pocket and pulled out his own knife. Oh, and what will you do? As he finished the sentence, Jeff popped the kid in the nose. As Randy reached his face, Jeff grabbed the kid's wrist and broke it. Randy screamed and Jeff grabbed the knife from his hand. Troy and Keith rushed at Jeff, but Jeff was too quick. He threw Randy to the ground. Keith lashed out at him, but Jeff ducked and stabbed him in the arm. Keith dropped the knife and fell to the ground screaming. Troy rushed him too, and then Jeff didn't even need the knife. He just punched Troy straight in the stomach, and Troy went down. As he fell, he puked all over. Louie could do nothing but look in amazement at Jeff. Jeff, how do you... That was all he said. They saw the bus coming and knew that they'd blame the whole thing. That they'd be blamed for the whole thing. So they started running as fast as they could. As they ran, they looked back and saw the bus driver rushing over to Randy and the others. As Jeff and Lou made it to school, they didn't dare tell what happened. All they did was sit and listen. Lou just thought of that as his brother beating up a few kids, but Jeff knew it was more. It was something scary. As he got the feeling, he felt how powerful it was, the urge to just hurt someone. He didn't like how it sounded. He couldn't help feeling happy. He felt the strange feeling go away and stay for an entire day of school. Even as he walked home due to the whole thing near the bus stop, how he probably wouldn't be taking the bus anymore. He felt happy. When he got home, his parents asked him how his day was. He said in somewhat ominous voice, "It was a wonderful day." Next morning, he heard a knock on his front door. He walked down to find 2 police officers at the door, his mother looking back at him with an angry look. Oh, shit, Mother. Jeff, these officers tell me that you attacked 3 kids. This wasn't a regular fighting. They were stabbed. Stabbed, son. Jeff's gaze fell to the floor, showing his mother that it was true. Mom, they were the ones who pulled the knives on me and Lou. Son, said one of the cops, we found 3 kids, 2 stabbed and having a bruise on his stomach, and we have witnesses proving that you fled the scene. Now, what does that tell us? Jeff knew it was no use. He could say him and Lou had been attacked, but there was no proof that it was not him who attacked first. They couldn't say that they weren't fleeing because, truth be told, they were. So Jeff couldn't defend himself or Lou. Son, calm down your brother. Jeff couldn't do it since it was him who beat up all the kids. Sir, it was me. I was the one who beat up the kids. Lou tried to hold me back, but he couldn't stop me. The cop looked at him with his partner, and they both nodded. Well, kid, looks like a year in juvie. Wait, says Lou, and they all looked up to see him holding a knife. The officers pulled their guns and locked it on Lou. It was me. I beat up those little shits. I have the marks to prove it. He lifted up his sleeve to reveal cuts and bruises, as if it was in a struggle. Son, just put the knife down, said the officer. Lou held up the knife and dropped it to the ground. He put his hands up and walked over to the cops. No, Lou, it was me. I did it. Jeff had tears running down his face. Poor bro, trying to take the blame for what I did. Well, take me away. Police led Lou to the patrol car. Lou, tell them it was me. Tell them. I was the one who beat up those kids. Jeff's mother put her hands on his shoulder. Put his hands on his shoulder. One second. Jeff, please don't lie. We know it's Lou. You can stop. Jeff watched helplessly as the cop car speeds off with Lou inside. A few minutes later, Jeff's dad pulls into the driveway, seeing Jeff's face and knowing something was wrong. Son, what is it? Jeff couldn't answer. His vocal cords were strained from crying. Instead, Jeff's mother walked his father inside to break the bad news to him as Jeff wept in the driveway. After an hour or so, Jeff walked back into the house, seeing that his parents were both shocked, sad, and disappointed. He couldn't look at them. He couldn't see how they thought of Lou when it was his fault. He just went to sleep, trying to think the whole thing in his mind. 2 days went by with no word from Lou at JDC. No friends to hang out with him, nothing but sadness and guilt. But that is until Saturday, when Jeff is woke up by his mother with a happy, sunshiny face. Jeff, it's the day, she said. She opened the curtains and let light flood into his room. What's today? Asked Jeff as he started to awake. Why, it's Billy's birthday party. He said he was now fully awake. Mom, you're joking, right? You don't expect me to go to some kid's party after. There was a long pause. Jeff, we both know what happened. I think this party could be the thing that brightens up the past days. Now, get dressed. Jeff's mother walked out of the room downstairs to get ready herself. He fought himself to get up. He picked up a random shirt and pair of jeans and walked downstairs. He saw his mother and father were just dressed up. His mother in a dress and his father in a suit. He thought, would they ever wear fancy clothes to the kids' party? Son, is that all you're going to wear? Says Jeff's mom. Better than wearing too much, he said. His mother pushed down the food to yell at him and hid it with a smile. Now, Jeff, we may be overdressed, but this is how you go if you want to make an impression, said his father. Jeff grunted and went back to his room. I don't have any fancy clothes, he yelled downstairs. Just pick out something, called his mother. He looked around in the closet for what he could call fancy.
Oh my god. For what? Oh. Oh, I thought in the 1.8 version you could only stack coal up to 21, but I realized I just had 3 charcoal that wouldn't stack with coal. Never mind. Continue with the story.
Okay. One sec. He found a black pair of dress pants he had for special occasions and an undershirt. He couldn't find a shirt to go with it, though. He looked around and only found a stripe and patterned shirts. None of them would go with dress pants. Finally, he found a white hoodie and put it on. You're wearing that? They both said. His mother looked at her watch. Oh no, no time to change. Let's just go. She said she herded Jeff and his father out the door. They crossed the street over to Barbara and Billy's house. They knocked on the door, and at it appears Barbara, just like his parents, way overdressed. As they walked inside, all Jeff could see were adults, no kids. The kids are out in the yard, Jeff. How about you go and meet some of them? said Barbara. Jeff walked outside a yard full of tiny kids. They were running around in weird cowboy costumes and shooting each other with plastic guns.
Yeehaw!
He might as well be standing in a Toys R Us. Suddenly, a kid came up to him and handed him a toy gun and a hat. "Hey, wanna play?" he said. "Oh, no, kid, I'm way too old for this stuff." The kid looked at him with a weird puppy dog face. "Please?" said the kid. "Fine," said Jeff. He put on the hat and started to pretend to shoot all the kids. At first, he thought it was totally ridiculous, and then he started to actually have fun. It might not have been super cool, but it was the first time he had done something that took his mind off of Blue. So he played with the kids for a while until he heard a noise, a weird rolling sound, and then it hit him. Randy, fucking Troy, Keith all jumped over the fence on their skateboards. Jeff dropped the fake gun and ripped off the hat. Randy looked at Jeff with a burning hatred. Ah.
Bum, bum, bum.
Sorry. "Hello, Jeff, is it?" he said. "We have some unfinished business to do." Jeff saw his bruised nose. "I think we're even. I beat the shit out of you, and you get my brother sent to JDC." Randy got an angry look on his eyes. "Oh no, I don't go for even. I go for winning. You may have kicked our asses that one day, but not today." As he said that, Randy rushed at Jeff. They both fell to the ground. Randy punched Jeff in the nose, and Jeff grabbed him by the ears and headbutted him. Jeff pushed Randy off of him, and they both rose to their feet. Kids were screaming, and parents were running out of the house. Troy and Keith both pulled guns out of their pockets. "No one interrupts, or guts will fly," they said. Randy pulled a knife on Jeff and stabbed it into his shoulder. Jeff screamed and fell to his knees. Randy started kicking him in the face. After 3 kicks, Jeff grabs his foot, twists it, and breaks it, causing Randy to fall to the ground. Jeff stood up and walked towards the back door. Troy grabbed him. "Need some help?" He picks Jeff up back by the back of the collar and throws him through the patio door. As Jeff tries to stand, he was kicked to the ground. Randy repeatedly starts kicking Jeff until he starts to cough up blood. "Come on, Jeff, fight me!" He picks up Jeff and throws him into the kitchen. Randy sees a bottle of vodka on the counter and smashes the glass over Jeff's head. "Fight!" He throws Jeff into the living room. "Come on, Jeff, look at me!" Jeff glances up. His face is riddled with blood. I was the one who put your brother in JDC, and now you're gonna sit there and let him rot for a whole year? You should be ashamed." Jeff starts to get up. "Oh, finally, you stand and fight, pussy." Jeff is now to his feet, blood and vodka on his face. Once again, he gets that strange feeling, the one in which he hasn't felt for a while. "Finally, he's up," says Randy as he runs at Jeff, and then it happens. Something inside Jeff snaps. His psyche destroyed. All rational thinking is gone. All he can do is kill. He grabs Randy and pile drives him into the ground. He gets on top of him and punches him straight in the heart. The punch causes Randy's heart to stop. As Randy gasps for breath, Jeff hammers down at him, punch after punch. Bloody gushes from Randy's body until he takes one final breath and dies. Everyone is looking at Jeff now. The parents, the crying kids, even Troy and Keith. Although they easily break from the gaze and point their guns at Jeff. Jeff sees the guns trained on him and runs for the stairs. As he runs Troy and Keith out, they let fire at him, each shot missing. Jeff runs up the stairs. He hears Troy and Keith follow behind. As they let up the final rounds of bullets, Jeff ducks into the bathroom. He grabs the towel rack and rips it off the wall. Troy and Keith race in, knives ready. Troy swings his knife at Jeff, who backs away and bangs the towel rack into Troy's face. Troy goes down hard, and now that all there's left is Keith. He is more agile than Troy, though, and ducks when Jeff swings the towel rack. He dropped the knife and grabbed Jeff by the neck. He pushes him into the wall. A thing of bleach fell down on top of him from the top shelf. It burnt both of them, and they both started to scream. Jeff wiped his eyes as best as he could. He pulled back the towel rack and swung it straight into Keith's head. As they lay there, bleeding to death, he let out an ominous smile. "What's so funny?" asked Jeff. Keith pulled out a lighter and switched it on. What's funny, he said, is that you're covered in bleach and alcohol. Jeff's eyes widened as he threw a lighter at him. As soon as the flame made contact with him, the flames ignited the alcohol and vodka. While the alcohol burned him, it bleached his skin. Bleached his skin. Jeff let out a terrible screech as he caught on fire. He tried to roll around, but the fire but it was no use. The alcohol had made him a walking inferno. He ran down the hall and fell down the stairs. Everybody started screaming as they saw Jeff, now a man on fire, drop to the ground, nearly dead. The last thing Jeff saw was his mother and his other parents trying to extinguish his flame, and then he passed out. Part 2. Tell us what you guys think so far in the comments. One second. Okay.
And comment if you want to continue listening to creepypastas while I play old Minecraft.
When Jeff woke, he had a cast wrapped around his face. He couldn't see anything, but he felt a cast on his shoulder, the stitches all over his body. He tried to stand up, but he realized there was some tube in his arm, and when he tried to get up, and it fell out, and the nurse rushed in. "I don't think he can get it out of bed just yet," she said in a nasally voice as she put him back in the bed and reinserted the tube. Jeff sat there with no vision, no idea what his surroundings were. Finally, after hours, he heard his mother. "Honey, are you okay?" she asked. Jeff couldn't answer, though. His face was covered, and he was unable to speak. "Oh, honey, I have great news. After all the witnesses told the police that Randy confessed was trying to attack you, they decided to let Lou go. They decided to let Lou go. They made Jeff almost bolt up, stopping halfway, remembering the tube coming out of his arm. He'll be out tomorrow, and then you two will be able to be together again." Jeff's mother hugs Jeff and says her goodbyes. The next couple of weeks were those where Jeff was visited by his family, and then came the day where his bandages were to be removed. His family were all there to see what he would look like. As the doctor unwrapped the bandages from Jeff's face, everyone was on the edge of their seats. They waited until the last bandage holding the cover over his face was almost removed. "Let's hope for the best," said the doctor. He quickly pulls the cloth, letting the rest fall from Jeff's face. Jeff's mother screams in the side of his face. Lou and Jeff's dad stare, awestruck, at his face. What happened to my face?" Jeff said. He rushed out of his bed and ran to the bathroom. He looked in the mirror and saw the causes of distress. His face. It's horrible. His lips were burnt to the deep shade of red, and his face was turned into a pure white color, and his hair singed from brown to black. He slowly put his hand on his face and let out it had a short, leathery feel to it now. He looked back at his family and back in the mirror. "Jeff," said Lou, it's not that bad." "Not that bad," said Jeff. "It's perfect," said his family. Were equally surprised. Jeff started laughing uncontrollably, and his parents noticed what his left eye and hand were twitching. Jeff, are you okay?" "Okay? I've never felt more happy." "Look at me. This face goes perfectly with me." He couldn't stop laughing. He stroked his face, feeling it, looking at it in the mirror. "What caused this?" "Well, you may recall that Jeff was fighting Randy in his mind. His sanity snapped. Now he was left to the crazy killing machine. That is, his parents didn't know. "Doctor," said Jeff's mom, "is my son all right in the head?" "Oh yes, so this behavior is typical for patients that have taken a large amount of painkillers. If his behavior doesn't change in a few weeks, bring him back here, and we'll give him a physiological test." "Oh, thank you, doctor." Jeff's mother went over to Jeff. "Jeff, sweetie, it's time to go." And Jeff looks away from the mirror, his face still formed in a crazy smile. "Okay, Mommy." And his mother took him by the shoulder and took him to get his clothes. This is what he came in," said the lady at the desk. Jeff's mom looked down and see the black dress pants and white hoodie her son wore. Now they were clean and blend, stitched together. Jeff's mother led them to his room and made him put on his clothes on. Then they left, not knowing what this was their final day of life. Later that night, Jeff's mother woke to sound coming from the back room. It sounded as if someone was crying. She slowly walked to see what was the matter. She looked in the bathroom and saw a horrendous sight. Jeff had taken a knife and carved a smile into his cheeks. Jeff, what are you doing? Asked his mother. Jeff looked over to his mother. I couldn't keep smiling, Mommy. It hurt after a while, but now I can smile forever. Jeff's mother noticed his eyes ringed in black. Jeff, your eyes! His eyes were seemingly never closing. I couldn't see my face. I got tired and my eyes started to close. I burned the eyelids so I could forever see myself in my new face. Jeff's mother slowly started to back away, seeing that her son was going insane. What's wrong, Mommy? Aren't I beautiful? Yeah, yes, son. Yes, you are. Let me go get Daddy, so he can see your face. She ran into the room and shook Jeff's dad from his sleep. Honey, get the gun. She stopped as she shot Jeff in the hallway, holding a knife. Mommy, you lied. The last thing they hear is Jeff rushes them with a knife, gutting both of them. His brother Lou woke up, startled by the noise. He didn't hear anything else, so he just shut his eyes and tried to go back to sleep. As he was on the border of slumber, he got the strangest feeling that someone was watching him. He looked up before Jeff's hand covered his mouth. He slowly raised the knife, ready to plunge it into Lou. Lou thrashed here and there, trying to escape Jeff's grip. Shh, 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 shh. Just go to sleep, my brother. And that was the creepiest creepypasta I have read in a long time, besides Clockwork and possibly maybe Smile Dog. But that
Wait. The little boy who survived in the beginning, who survived the attack of Jeff, was that his little brother? Was that Jeff's little brother, the boy who survived Jeff's attack?
Billy?
Yeah.
Billy didn't get attacked.
But
that was the neighbor's son.
But he said brother.
No, son.
What? Okay, I am confused. Back up. So in the beginning of the story, it talked about a kid who saw Jeff and survived.
Oh, that was after this story.
Oh, after the story. So I was asking, the little boy, the Lou, was he the boy in the beginning of the story who was talking about how he saw Jeff and then lived?
No, that was just a random boy who had
Oh, so he actually did kill his brother.
What?
So he actually did kill his brother.
Yeah.
Heartless maniac.
Well, he went insane after he caught on fire and bleached his skin.
Yeah. The story that Emily told me, a friend from school, she said he just went nuts.
He did go insane.
I know, but she didn't. Okay, so this is what she mentioned. He went to a party with a bunch of kids that were his same age, and he was taken into a bathroom and bleached. But it was actually a little kid's party.
Yeah, it was actually a little kid's party. I think she was wrong.
Because she was like, no, it was kids his own age at the party.
Nope.
that bleached him to death.
Nope. They
It
didn't
was.
bleach him to death. He didn't die, first of all.
I know. But he was burned. Dang
Some people say he's
it!
still
A
out there.
freaking zombie killed me and destroyed my iron boots. Good thing I've got diamonds.
Okay. So that was it for our creepypasta reading. Like if you want more. Next
I
time
don't know why you would want more. I
Next time
know.
it'll be clockwork.
I don't really know.
Okay. See you guys later. Bye.
Wait, okay. Okay, everything is perfect in the House of Solitude. Now, see ya next time. Maybe it will be a mod review. Maybe it will be the next episode of playing old Minecraft beta version 1.8. In old Minecraft where villagers were just introduced. No, it is not the new fabulous 1.8 after 1.7, 0.2, and 4, and 5. In
Cody,
regular.
They get it.
Okay. Some people are dumb out there that don't understand it.